Peace. We're about to call our good brother Darren Muhammad so we could at least have this conversation and make sure it's absolutely clear. Small little interview about a few things, so just sit tight. Let's make this happen. In the divine name of the Supreme Being, I want to greet everyone with a civilized greeting. That greeting be peace, shalom, hotep, assalamu alaikum, shalom, whatever greeting you go by, as long as we come in the name of peace. I'm doing this impromptu kind of thing, so I hope y'all got the message real quick. So I'm supposed to call Darren Muhammad at now. So yeah. All right. So let me see. Let's see if it works. Just keep in mind, we're supposed to be talking about symbology, which is around here somewhere. I'll dig it up in a minute. But we're going to cover a wide variety of things. So just hang tight with me. Shout out to everybody that's signing on. All right. So Darren Muhammad's in Baltimore. He has a live radio show. He's going to call in. Hopefully y'all can hear it. I'm not sure, but yeah. All right. Let me. I might want to close these doors because it's kind of loud outside. People doing lawns and all kind of stuff. So we're gonna wait for Darren Muhammad to pick up. He's live in the studio in Baltimore. Hopefully y'all can hear it. All right. So let's see what happens. All right. While he's not answering, let me close the door. All right. In the meantime, between time, while Darren Muhammad is trying to figure out whether he want to pick up the phone, shout out to Ray. Shout out. Yeah, peace, bro. What's good? You good? All right, no problem. All right. Cassandra, Grant, Ray, Malachi, Fatima. Yeah. All right.
Welcome back, Simon, to the state of the city. Now, Simon, it gives me honor and great delight to have my brother joining me on the line. As I said, he's in town next Saturday at the Reflections Eternal Barbershop from 6 to 9 p.m. But he is, of course, one of, if not the founding member of Public Enemy, revolutionary, evolutionary hip-hop group that gives information and inspiration to many. And Clinton, he is the Minister of Information. And he has a new book out, new project out. And it is, as I mentioned, Symbology, Part 2 of the overt or covert war on hip-hop. So we're honored as we have this opportunity to have this brother joining us straight off the Carl Nelson show the other day.
All right.
Let's reintroduce to others and welcome back to the state of the city, my brother and friend, Brother Professor Griff.
Peace. Peace, Brother Darren. How you feel, bro?
I feel good, brother. How are you?
I'm maintaining it. One slight correction. I'm not the founder of Public Enemy. Chuck D is. Chuck D was offered a deal by Rick Rubin, Def Jam. And he basically said no, he'd rather bring his sidekick, Flavor, and bring the rest of the crew, Professor Griff, Terminator X, S1Ws, and he wanted to be produced by the Bomb Squad. So it's a lot that went into that particular story, but Chuck D was offered a deal, no one else. And I think we need to get that bit of the history of Public Enemy correct. Myself, James Baum, Pop, Mike, Drew, everyone else, Roger, everyone else came a little bit later on. But those early meetings that set the tone for what we were actually going to do, yeah, those were kind of private meetings. Those was kind of, between me, Hank, Chuck, because we used to DJ together, and we had a crew called Spectrum City. So yeah, there wasn't too many people privy to those kind of conversations. But yeah, but that's just a short kind of correction in the history of Public Enemy. And those that know the Spectrum City days know that Dwayne, Brother Ben, who I grew up with, and a lot of other people was on the scene before the crew that you see now. But we kind of was the ones that helped establish what you see today as Public Enemy. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, brother. Before we get started, let's give out the contact information we can be reached, Brother Griff.
People can reach me directly. I'm approachable and reachable at 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919. Or they can just go to my website, www.professorgriff.me. That's professorgriff.me. Or just email me at seriousminds.info@gmail.com. That's seriousminds.info@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. Now, of course, you have a radio program which you do, and oftentimes you're doing it on live, Facebook Live. So let's talk about what days you're on and what time you air, brother.
Yeah, this is my second time changing this format, having to do it on Facebook Live, which I get to see the people's comments and actually interact with the people, and along with Google Hangout. I'm not changing, but I'm moving to a broader format in about 2 months that would allow people to come on and I can kind of video chat with them and have a conversation, because I think that's where technology is moving us to. But I'm on every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock on Serious Minds Info. That's RNTV, radio and TV. Serious Minds RNTV every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. And I do my thing with Brother Rich at 11 o'clock on Wednesday nights.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Again, family, just tuned in and have a conversation with Brother Professor Griff online and joined in studio with Sister Olore. And, of course, the rest of the sisters. We're going to have this conversation to talk about. Brother Griff, before we get into this conversation, let's talk about next Saturday. We're going to have you in town at Reflections Eternal Barbershop and talk about what you're going to be getting into with the lecture and book signing. Well,
as I discussed with you for the last several months, I think we need to kind of come in and take these everyday events that's going on and these daily occurrences and kind of break them down and decode them and see what the symbology is. Symbology is not only signs and symbols that I talk about in my book, Symbology. Book one and book 2. What's the symbolism and the hidden meaning behind some of the moves, political moves that they're making, some of the religious moves that they're making, some of the global moves that's going on, that's been happening, which I call hidden in plain sight. They're right in front of us, but if we don't have that political and intellectual mindset to understand what's going on a global scale, it's hard for us to deal with them on a local level, because it's beyond our reach. So I think we need to bring it right on home and bring it right back down to earth as to how we're handling these things and decode these things and break down the symbols behind them. Why would, for example, why would America drop a bomb right after the so-called attacks on Syria and call it the mother of all bombs? Why not the father of all bombs or the daughter? Why the mother of all bombs? So we need to break down the symbology of it and decode it for exactly what it is, so we can explain it to the people in the language that the people understand.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Now, for those that would like to get a copy of your book, brother, before the lecture, because I gave mine and lent mine out to Sister Eula, and I don't know if I'm going to get it back.
I'll bring you a copy, bro.
But where can brothers and sisters obtain a copy before next Saturday?
Well, they can go right to my website, www.professorgriff.me, or they could just give me a call at 678-557-2919. But right before the lecture, I'm gonna be at the Grindhouse, man, right next door.
Yes, sir.
Getting me some smoothies and some vegan food in my system, so I can have the energy to do what I do. So I talked to the sister, beautiful family she has there, beautiful restaurant, cafe, and I'll be right next door signing copies of the books, taking pictures, kicking it before the lecture. So hopefully people can just kind of meet me there, all right?
All right, yes, sir. We say it's a nice place to meet up, greet up, tweet up, and eat up for sure.
That's right.
All right, yes, sir. Again, family, just tuning in and having a conversation online with Brother Professor Griff. We joined in studio, Brother Griff, as I said, with Sister Olore, who we wanted to have join us, as we've been talking about, and this conversation is we're talking about signs, symbols, numerology, gematria, this whole issue of our missing girls, missing women. Saw the other day where a black judge, one of the first black judges on the Supreme Court in New York, was missing, but we didn't even know she was missing. And then 2 days later, her body washes up in the Hudson River. So I wanted to have sister on because she heard the call, heeded the call,
Right.
heard the cry and the pleas, and stepped up. And of course, you shouted her out on your show. So I wanted to have sister join us when she could around her schedule to talk about luminousAlert.org and what it is. So let me get your thoughts and comments on that before I come to Sister Lori.
Well, I really want to hear from the sister because I want to hear a woman's perspective. A lot of times when it comes through the lens and through the spirit of the women, we tend to balance this out. See, this is what I mean when America refers to the mother of this or the mother of all bombs or the mother, because a lot of times we crouch in that feminine energy, and a lot of times they're actually doing rituals and speaking a language past our consciousness. But it's very imperative and very important that we get certain kind of information out. This is why what the sister's doing is so important by creating this website and this app, so we can alert our people as to what's going on. And this is really critical at this particular day age we live in. There's Brother Darren, Sister Lori, there's over 5 billion cell phones presently out in the world. You mean to tell me we don't have one damn app that we can communicate with one another without the interference of other people getting our so-called black business to the point where we can communicate our hurt, desire, pain, whether or not we can help one another? What if there's another earthquake in the world concerning our people? How will we be able to get funds to the people that need the funds? We have to be able to create a virtual infrastructure so we can communicate with one another. And this is very real and very vital right now as we speak.
Thank you for that. So let me come to you and just get thoughts and comments for those that may be hearing this for the first time. And your Luminous Alert and how it started and the importance of it and how it works.
Thank you. It started, I was having a conversation with the CEO sitting beside me, and we were discussing that something needed to be done about our situation. It's unacceptable that in 2017, over 64,000 Black women and children have gone missing, and you haven't heard a word. And it weighed so heavily on my heart that I decided to do something about it. I can't sit and wait for someone else to come to our rescue, because sometimes we are forgotten, especially in mainstream media. So I put the call out to my godchildren in my Elay or spiritual temple, and I told them this is what I want and we need to make it happen. And I gave them basically how long? A weekend from early Saturday morning until Sunday evening to make my vision come to fruition. When I started researching names that symbolize us in a positive light, of course I started with Black. And unfortunately, according to Webster Wikipedia, anything Black is negative. And that disturbed me. So then I thought, well, we are bright, shining beings. You know, in the society where it's dark, we emit light.
Yeah.
And so we became luminous. Okay. And if you research luminous colors, there are 5 luminous colors: green, blue, green, orange, blue, pink, and yellow. Well, I didn't want our color to be synonymous with Amber Alert, because unfortunately, whenever there's an Amber Alert, synonymous with white child missing.
That's right.
They don't even take us into consideration. I decided on the color green because that's one of my favorite colors, and I think that would stand out more so than anything.
Right.
I'm sorry? Yeah, Mother Earth.
Right.
And so I came up with the website luminousAlert.org, O-R-G. And it's been costly, but it's been worth it. We now have an app.
Okay.
The app you can get either through Amazon or through Google Play if you just put in Luminous Alert.
Spell that for us.
Sure. LUMINOUS luminasalert.org is the website. But if you put in Luminous Alert, you can find us on Instagram as Luminous Alert, on Facebook, Luminous Alert. Twitter is the @ and the @ for those who may not know, is the little A with the circle around it. Luminous Alert. You can find us, and we also ask that whenever you receive a posting or a news alert about one of us, meaning black woman or child, who have gone missing, to just use the hashtag Luminous Alert or Loom Alert so that we can post it to our site. The point of having the app is to alert you, and we are also working in the process of making it so, just like when little Becky and Griff go missing and your TV programming is interrupted,
That's right.
we want the same consideration.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, because they are snatching us daily,
That's right.
either for our melanin, for organ harvesting, or for sex trafficking, your TV program and your radio program will probably interrupt it on a daily basis. So much so that maybe mainstream media will pick up our plight and give us the same consideration as they give our white counterparts.
I agree. Is there a phone number where brothers and sisters and listeners can call you?
Yes.
Oh,
We
right.
have a toll-free 800 number, and it's 1-800-659-8329. Again, it's 1-800-659-8329. You can also contact us at alert@luminousAlert.org. Again, it's alert@luminousAlert.org.
Okay. All right. Brother Griff, let me get your thoughts on that, because I think what she stepped up and what the sisters have stepped up to do are so important, as we've been talking about our missing girls. And I think that probably for the first time that I can remember, it's due to grassroots organizations, the black media, independent black media, programs such as yours, those that Straight Black Pride with Brother Rich and others that have stepped up and have forced this issue to the mainstream like never before, to the point that even what they might have thought to be a negative in terms of what began in Washington, D.C., we've turned that into using it, of course, for a positive. Oftentimes, after about 30 days, our people forget these kind of events and crises, but this has been an ongoing crisis. So talk about the importance, I think, of the Black independent media and grassroots organizations and forcing this issue to the forefront now.
But I think it's very key that Black independent media on every level, everyone from a blog talk show to those of us that are brave enough to step outside the circle and step outside the box to mention these kind of things on a broader platform that these other people allow us to be on. What's unique about this is we have to be able to create our own infrastructure, as I said earlier. A friend of mine from Boston, Jamal Crawford, mentioned the fact that there's other websites out there that are doing something similar. And the question now is asked, why didn't we take advantage and support the people that are already doing this kind of work, as opposed to the sister recreating the wheel? You understand what I'm saying? Beautiful thing that she's doing, but we have to be able to now do one and three things. We have to be able to connect with people that are already out there doing this kind of work so we can bring attention, and then secondly, show unity and a cohesiveness. And this is very important. One thing I would like to say, I want to ask the sister permission if I could speak on this whole idea, not now, but at the lecture, that they speak on the whole idea of the colors that she used, because it's the very same thing I deal with in my book. Of course, green is a beautiful color because it's the heart chakra. But we should not let someone else define who and what we are, because we are Black people, and Black is the essence to every color. Just because Webster and the rest of these demons want to write us in as demonic and evil and all this other concept in their dictionary, we are no one to allow them to define who we are. Plain and simple. So I respect the fact that she wanted to reach out to the broader human family. But we should always teach this valuable lesson that black is the essence to everything. You understand what I'm saying? Everything comes from black. And black gave color to everything on the planet. Plain and simple. I don't give a goddamn. Oh, excuse me. I know we live on the air. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know we're on State of the City. I'm sorry about that. I don't give a damn who write the damn dictionary. We are black. God is black. You understand what I'm saying? My thoughts are black. I live on a black street. I used to drive a black car, got a black girlfriend. I eat black food. I have black thoughts. Hell, my toothpicks are black. So I'm not going to stray away from who and what I am. And I understand we need a global color, a more universal color, and green is that color. The land is green. Life is green. You understand what I'm saying? Mother Earth is green. Of course, the soil is black. But anyway, it's beautiful what she's doing. That's just my, no problem. But I'm asking your permission, sis, to talk about that.
Of course.
Okay.
This time of the year as well, and which children are used in these symbols and these signs and these rituals. Can you take a few minutes to speak on that, brother?
Yes, and that's just those two sisters that are there with you should be well aware of this particular point, that there's an influx of people contacting them on their app and on their site, because between March and May, we're going to see majority of blood sacrifice. I don't care whether it's animals, humans, but mainly children are going to come up missing during this period. And this is very real. This is why it was, I know and understand, I'm going beyond belief, that this black woman floating in water with black robes on because she was a judge, and black is the symbol of authority in racism, white supremacy, and culture. So we need to understand that during this period and during this period alone, more black children are going to come up missing. And I tell everybody, watch your animals, watch your elderly, definitely watch your children, because between March and May, this is the season of sacrifice. And all these pseudo religions and cults and secret societies have to make these blood sacrifices during this period of time. You know, you go deep and dive to, or put in book one, the blood sacrifice. I'm not making up, and I'm not trying to right now. And this is real.
Remember this day was the beginning of the Civil War, the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, and then the Civil War a few days later, of course, on the 19th, we went to Oklahoma City, we go to Columbine, we go to Waco, Texas, Virginia Tech, we had the Exxon Valdez blowout. All that began during that time of the 15th up until basically the 20th, culminating in the birthday of Hitler, and then going all the way to May the 1st, of course, the Belgian Festival, and then into May the 1st, which is the Illuminati Founders Day, May 1st, 1776. So I want to get your thoughts on that, Chris.
Well, we do the numerology, Darren, and I think the sister would be doing herself a favor if she had this particular knowledge. I'm sure she already knows. We're just reinforcing it right now, because she's going to get these kind of questions, along with having to be and dig deep down inside and tap into that mother nature in her. to notice, because she's have to console now. She has to guide. She has to teach. At the same time, strap on her black boots and go out in the field and help find some of these girls and these women. And of course, she had to put on a thinking cap, because now she got to dive into some politics and some religions and some of these secret societies to figure out exactly what's going on. But this is not new, Darren. Our psychic is like a vampire. You already know the numbers. This is why America is all right, listen to the societies. All that these so-called important doctors, these amendments, Bill of Rights, a lot of them were Masons, a lot of them Shriners, a lot of them have taken the oath and are part of secret societies. So this is not new. As a matter of fact, this kind of outdated. We're just reminding people what these people are. And sister, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, I already know you try to connect with religious leaders, business leaders, and political leaders, and they turn a blind eye to what you're doing. Tell me I'm wrong.
You know,
it's been hard. A lot of people don't want to hear what we have to say, and that's why, you know, our motto is we're giving a voice to the voiceless. Because unfortunately, the only time we are thought of is either in a sexual manner, or if we are entertaining, or if we being caretakers. You know, what do you call them? I can't say mammies.
Still modern day mammies.
Modern day mammies.
To their children.
Right.
But when it comes to something of substance, you know, unless I'm being backed by
I think children, but I think it's what we're doing, because brother, you know, to find out people who are supposed to be controlling the amperage system are people that have been directly tied to human trafficking and exploiting children. So what better way to gain access to children than to say that you're actually setting up a system to protect the children? And all you're doing is getting more access to the children. As we saw Laura Selden, who was tied to the Clinton Foundation, and she was one of the whites that went into Haiti at the height of the earthquake and was stealing black children out of Haiti. And you come to find out, Laura Selsby was just an alias. In the meantime, she has another name, and she's actually running and controlling, along with Richard Branson. And for those of you that know Branson, we'll get into that on another show. But talk about the importance of, again, setting up our own, protecting our own in 2017 right now.
Well, it's definitely a grassroots effort. We can't look to our oppressor for our salvation. That doesn't even make sense to me. And I knew that when I saw the vision of Luminous Alert, and I begun the process, that I was going to have a bullseye on my back. Right. But they forget I'm a child of, in the Yoruba tradition, we say Ola Jumare, which is the child of God. Yeah. And I walk in the light, and I'm heavily protected by the Orisha, which are traditional Yoruba deities, my ancestors. Right. So I don't fear anyone. And if you roll up on me, God help you. Because I'm from West Baltimore. We don't play that. And I usually went there.
She's from Baltimore.
I don't give a fuck. So don't even try me. That's I have to say about that. But yeah, the main thing is we have to look out for our own. Yeah. And we have to careful who you approach when you have information, especially like this, because if I knock on certain politicians' door, they are guilty.
Yeah.
You know, they're part of the problem. Certain police, you have a lot of corrupt police. You have very few ones who aren't corrupt. But if you're co-signing or if you're turning a blind eye to what your brother in blue is doing, then you are just as guilty. So I know I got a bullseye on my back, but I don't care.
Yes, man. Well, we're gonna be right there with you.
She got a public enemy target on her back.
She got the public enemy, absolutely. But again, Griff, as we're talking about this, I think this is so important because again, we hear the numbers of 64,000, and we know the numbers are much larger than 64,000 of our women and girls that go missing. Because we know white men can't count.
And men too.
And the men go missing as well. So I think about why this again, Griff, can't overemphasize or underemphasize why this is so important, as I said before, because what we have found in our research, the people that claim that they are setting up systems of protecting those from being trafficked, they normally are the gatekeepers for the most part, is what we've seen. As she talked about the police and politicians and institutions, this touches so many institutions inside of this country and globally. Speak to the importance of this.
Well, you know, Brother Darren, I think the first line of defense is the first thing that they broke down when the colonizer and the enslaver and the trader and the owners, I'm talking about the slave trader, the slave master, and the slave owner, the colonizers, the kidnappers came in and they broke the family structure down. They broke the village down by breaking the family. So we have, and Bessie and some other people in my family and Carl and some other people, and we don't stay in constant contact through other family members to know who's missing. So what is wrong with the first line of defense being the family? That sister says she's part of the Yoruba tradition. I'm sure them sisters stay in touch with one another on a weekly basis, right or wrong, sis. Whether it's for prayer, for meditation, for martial arts training, or just to get together to see one another. So the first line of defense, Brother Darren, is the family structure that we need to put back together. Then we would know who's missing. Just simply loving and caring for one another, something very basic that we should be doing any old way. So you're right, 64,000 missing men, women, and black children, Latino, some Asian probably. That's a low number. That's a low number simply because those were the ones that was probably reported. But Tay-Tay has been gone for 2 years. Who the hell know where Tay-Tay is, man? Until we hear some kind of unscrupulous report that some man was found in the desert with his eyeballs missing. And this actually happened to a brother in Georgia. Went to Hollywood to go chase his dream about being an actor in the movies. Came up missing. They found him in the desert and his eyes were missing. And then on
in Washington, D.C., taken out of a D.C. homeless shelter. And
wow.
In the shelter, they put the little orange badges on. So, you know, when we're talking about the missing young girls recently this year, her name wasn't even brought up in the conversation.
Wow.
So, and it was because they just put a new head over, I think, Family and Youth Services. I think her name was Chantel Dickerson. Officer Chantel Dickerson was the one that used social media to highlight in terms of missing girls in Washington, D.C. But I think she didn't realize the depth of how it was going to grow around the country. I think that once that genie, per se, was out of the bottle, there were those that tried to put the genie back in the bottle and say, well, this may be some urban legend. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we had young girls from Baltimore. One young girl, she had autism. And they were trying to figure out how she was taken from Western High School, and she was found in Prince George's County. And the Baltimore
Wow.
City Police Department in Prince George's County still haven't explained where she was, how she got to Prince George's County. And this is on top of a mother and a daughter who's been missing from Cherry Hill since February. So
Wow.
we can take those stories and multiply in terms of what's been going on. But as we're talking about this issue of again, missing girls, I've got to ask your thoughts on, oftentimes we'll see those celebrities, quote unquote celebrities, but as my brother, dear Teddy Gini said, oftentimes they can be weaponized celebrities. But talk about, I think, the importance of, again, what Dick Gregory has talked about in terms of the organ trafficking. 1.5 million black men missing in America that oftentimes not getting the attention. The LA rebellion, which we're getting ready to come up on, Griff, in terms of the anniversary of the LA rebellion, I think 2 weeks. When they arrested, they said they arrested 18,000, but when they went to do the count, they can only count for like 8,000 and some change. 10,000 black men went missing. So speak to the importance of that also.
Well, then again, Brother Darren, this speaks directly into the importance of what the sister is doing with luminousAlert.org, because a Luminous Alert now is going to become the grandmother of some other organizations and websites and apps that need to follow this sister's lead, because this is a lot broader than just missing and possibly murdered children in Baltimore and the DMV area. Because what you just mentioned, who was doing the numbers, Brother Darren? What organization? We got lawyers graduating from universities every single year with all kind of damn degrees. Who's doing those numbers? Except for people like you and I and brothers on the front line that have a database of people that we can communicate with, whether Facebook Live or Google Hangout or at a lecture somewhere. Who's doing that work to come up with those numbers and then turn around and get with Sister Lori with her people and compare the numbers? How the hell we know that they arrested 18,000 during the rebellion in LA, and they could only account for 8,000? So where are the 10,000 brothers that they arrested?
Family just tuned in, having a conversation with Professor Griff online, Sister Lori in studio, talking about this most important issue again of black and missing. The reason why that's important for those that may be celebrating, of course, Jesus and Easter, Griff, because we know Jesus went missing at 12 years old.
That's right.
He was 30, and they still haven't answered what happened to him. What's it got to do with Easter, bro? And Jesus, bro, Muhammad, you know, he went missing at 12. They didn't show up till he was 30.
Right.
So, and Mary, we ain't even gonna get into that, you know. But
right.
Again, I think all of what we're talking about all intertwines and is connected as we're looking at this bigger picture. Before we begin to wrap up with you, Griff, because we're gonna go for maybe till 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Wanna get your thoughts on, again, as you talked about this black judge. We talking about black women. I mean, at the height, here's a judge that can go missing. You know what I mean? For 2 days. Sheila Turner was what some say was her slave name, but there were those that said she became Sheila Absu Salama, which was her name, and she went missing, only to be found in the Hudson River, and they still haven't given us a proper timeline. And you would have those to say, well, she committed suicide. She outlived 2 bouts with cancer, 2 divorces, you understand, and just growing up black in America. But yet they will tell us that she left her house, didn't take her wallet, didn't take her keys, but she took her Metro card and then went out and committed suicide. So I want to get your thoughts as you mentioned her, of course.
Well, first of all, brothers and sisters, black people just don't do that. You know, we ain't leaving our wallet, our money, EBT card. We ain't leaving none of that behind. You understand what I'm saying? To go commit suicide somewhere else and then jump in the river. White people, stop that. That's y'all's thing. We don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? You know, we may kill ourselves. I call it durational suicide. We may kill ourselves over a period of time by eating pork. But their hands dripping with blood from the same people that murder. I've heard stuff, and they turn around and blame they drag this and read us his criminal record. See, but this is why Elijah Muhammad said we're not only dealing with some diabolical demons, all right? These people are actually devils in and of themselves. And when we talk about that, you can understand that mindset that Elijah Muhammad was talking about. And this is very real. And we do, as nearly full of understand, don't understand racism or supremacy, and we think we understand, will only confuse us. And this is really confusing because we're watching this with our own eyes, the man being dragged up the plane. And then the CEO got the nerve to say he's belligerent. Hell, I'd be belligerent too if somebody dragging me out of my seat. I done adjusted the headphones and put my bag up in the compartment. I got another bag under the seat. I got my seat out in. I done shifted in the airplane mode, about to doze off, and you're going to wake me up, about to dream about this fine chick named Soleil, and you're going to drag me up the damn plane? And interrupt, man, come the hell on.
Wrap up with your book, on his talked about these first as a prince. Been talking about the position of course. We print the copyright and they got his back. Recently, from I want to get ironic that Prince died on 4/21, 2/16, and the brother who wrote the scripts for a lot of Dave Chappelle shows, the brother of Ed Murphy, Charlie Murphy, is dying on 4/12, and of course he was known for the scripts that he could do about Prince and Rick James, who of course died, I think at 56 or 57. Prince died at 57, and Charlie Murphy died at 57. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
The numbers are there, and a lot of people have contacted me. They contacted me first about the sister website, Luminous, and started saying she part of the Illuminati. I said, your Negroes are silly. And the sister explained it very well. We the illuminated ones.
That's right.
We are the illuminated ones. And then after I beat them back on that, no, she's not part of the Illuminati. It's Luminous Alert to bring light and energy and life into who we are as a people. But yeah, you're right. The numbers do add up. People have contacted me about the numerology, about the blood sacrifice of Charlie Murphy. And I want to be able to talk about that at the lecture next weekend in Baltimore, Darren. It's too much for us to get into right now, but I'm definitely going to speak on that and the symbology surrounding this guy getting dragged off the plane and this fake attack with this Syria thing on who actually bombed Syria with these gases, these chemical weaponry that they're using. America is something else, man. But we're going to talk about Charlie Murphy's death as it relates to numerology, blood sacrifice, and symbology next Saturday, Brother Darren.
Okay, yes, sir. Let's get some closing comments and one more for his brothers and sisters that personal invite to come on out next Saturday to see and hear you, and of course to get their copy of the book, your latest project, of course, Symbology. And of course, there's those who's going to be asking, is it going to be in an audio form as well? You know that.
Well, to be honest with you, brother, it would not do, like I told Brother Carl Nelson, and shout out to Carl Nelson, it wouldn't do me or the symbols. Symbols. How am I going to put it? That's even something that I see. Understand. job, sister. But sis, any you just let me know. 675. If I if that 400 to bring back the energy so we can go out and find our missing girls and women, that's what I'll do.
Thank you. Anything else?
If you reach me at 678-557-2919 or go to my website, www.professorgriff.me. Sister, let me tell you, we gotta act though it's impossible to fail. That's my final words.
All right.
Oh, give thanks. I'm a tall brother, so you might miss me. So just yeah.
All right, brother.
Love y'all too.
Peace.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Just tuning in. Close our conversation. Brother Griff. We'll go to this quick musical break. Come back.
Well, family, that was it. Just a quick interview with Darren Muhammad, a live video in Baltimore. And of course, he had on Sister Lori, who is the one responsible for putting together lumenalert.org, so the organization with the app and the website that's putting something together to connect with other organizations so that we can find missing women and missing. The sum total now is 64,000 over the years. Wow. So yeah, it's critical. Desperate times call for desperate measures. All right. Let's start activating this consciousness that we say we have and start loving and looking out for one another before your child or your cousin, your niece, or even you are the next one missing. All right. As y'all heard, my number is 678-557-2919. My website is www.professorgriff.me. All right. You can email me at seriousminds.info. All right. Let's stay in touch. Let's make this happen. Shout out to Brother Rich. Doing a wonderful job on Underground Railroad and all